Welcome to Morrigan's Cottage. Morrigan's Cottage is a 200-year-old cottage set in Ireland's beautiful and wild west. Hey guys, welcome back to Morrigan's Cottage, and for some reason we're in the kitchen. I don't know why I decided to put you here, maybe the lighting was good. But welcome back to another video here at Morrigan's Cottage. This video is a really special one because it's something that since before I even decided that this was the house that I wanted, it was something that I wanted to get done to whatever house I was going to have. And that is installing our solar system. So getting solar panels in and getting a system in place so that we can essentially be off grid if needed or be on grid as well. I'm going to go into detail about the system that I got, how it's going to work, what it cost, everything like that later on in this video. But yes, I'm so excited to share this one with you. It's something that I've wanted for a really long time. Before we do get into that though, I just wanted to put a little something in this video before we get started, and that is, let me grab it here, this calendar. So this is the Little Hills yearly calendar. If you don't know, Little Hills is the animal rescue that I got my henny bennies from. They actually do a calendar every year, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna just let people know that if they're, in the mood for getting a calendar, and the money for the calendar goes to obviously the animal rescue, so it goes to a good cause. I would mention it in a couple of my videos. Now, this is not sponsored, it's not paid, it's not anything like that. This is something that I was always going to do because the more we can support our local rescues and rescues that we know or kind of use, the better. So with my very small platform here on YouTube and my absolutely wonderful community, I said, why not shout out the calendar? But a little surprise, if you go to August in the calendar, you might see some familiar faces. Let me show you. You will see the henny bennies. Now, I didn't realize they were going to do this, but they actually shouted out my YouTube channel. I just sent them pictures and a little kind of bit of detail about the hens and how they're doing, and I thought that would kind of be it, but they actually shouted out the YouTube channel, so that was really cool of them. But here is August, where our little henny bennies are, and you can see how big the eggs are as well. So hopefully maybe when people see how cute my hens are, it will kind of be like a little push for them to get their own hens. The calendar is now available. You can order it through Facebook. I'm going to put the link below in the description box, and I will put the details of the cost. But basically the calendar is €10. All proceeds go to obviously Little Hills. They are doing all of this themselves, the ordering, the shipping, everything like that. They will ship to anywhere in Ireland, anywhere in the north of Ireland and the UK, and you can also get it to the US. Now, in Ireland, I think shipping is about $3.70. The UK, excluding Northern Ireland, the north of Ireland is included in the ROI price. The UK, I think, is roughly $5.70 maybe, they said. And then the US is a bit more expensive to ship to. It's about €9, and I think they said maybe 50 cents, but it's roughly about €9 to ship to the US. But I thought I'd put it out there. If any of our wonderful community are looking for their 2026 calendar, go ahead and get this one if you have the means. And it would be great just to support the charity that I got my henny bennies from. And we all get to see my little henny bennies in August, so that's always a plus. Hey guys, welcome back to Morrigan's Cottage. Today is October 15th. I think it's a Wednesday, and it's a big day for us here at Morrigan's Cottage, and let me show you why. This should be maybe the first clue. What do you think, Mari? Do you want to show them? Okay, follow us down in here to our little service corridor. Now, here is our fuse box, which is obviously taken apart a little bit. And here is, I don't really know what this is, but it's something. And it is for the solar panels, but I think it's like the computer or whatever. Well, I know Bridie's in there, but yeah, so this is what we have going on at the moment. I don't want to touch anything because, yeah, I just don't want to touch anything, so we're just going to back it up. we'll have a little look outside and see what's going on out there. Okay, this is obviously the service section of the house. We've got the boiler and the water pump and everything over here. You stay there, honey. And then this is where our solar is going to be. So I think the battery goes here. And obviously it goes into the house. We'll go over here and I'll show you the solar panels. Okay, so there's our solar panels up there, right in the center of the roof. So, looking really good. The solar panels were installed maybe 2 weeks ago. How they do it is they get the lads to come install the solar panels up on the roof. And I didn't have to be here for that, so they actually came when I wasn't here, so that was really nice. They just did it. And then obviously the electricians are in today and they're getting everything hooked up to the system. So you won't be able to see it from down here, but there's 18 panels. It's a 9 kilowatt system. Does that sound like something that's correct? I don't know. Anyway, back inside we go. The lads are just gone on their tea break, or lunch break I suppose at this point. They've been working, they got here at about 8 this morning. I think they'll finish today, but I actually don't know for sure. Morrigan. I don't know what she thought she was about to be doing. Come on in, honey. Obviously, we were very lucky after Storm Amy. We did not lose any power whatsoever, which was a miracle. But, and I'll sit down and kind of go over the system with you properly because this video is all dedicated to solar. But basically, as you know, earlier this year, we had Storm Owen. We lost power for 15 days. And then a month before that, in December 2024, we had Storm Dara, where we lost power for 11 days. And that's a long time to be without power when you need the internet for the YouTube. When you need power for working from home, which my current job, which I'm still in, which I'm finishing up in, has work from home 3 days a week. The new job, I don't think there's any work from home, but I don't know. I'll find out when I start. So obviously, you know, you need power for that. But then just for everything else, like it was bloody cold in December and January. And now, we had no heating back then anyway, but this year we have heating and I want to be able to use my heating. So obviously if you've no power, there's no heating. And here we're on a well water supply to the house. So all of the water for the taps, sinks, everything like that, washing machine, etc., that all comes from the well, our private well. And the well pump obviously needs power to work. So, you know, when you have no power, you've got no heating and you've got no plumbing. And that is just a disaster. So obviously the solution was to get solar. So anyway, I will keep you updated. And then once they're gone, once I've had a few days with the system, I'll go over everything. And then if you have any questions, you can let me know. If you want to know the company that I used, you know, reach out. I'm in the northwest kind of area. I think they service quite a bit of the northwest, so I can definitely give you their information. But like I said, this is not sponsored. I'll tell you the price when I get the full bill. But we are paying in full, as we should. Morrigan's over having a little goo outside, but let me bring you over to my solar setup. I'm so excited. So this is it. Very cool. I don't have to worry about any of these things. I don't really have to worry about this. I don't have to do anything with it. But this is the inverter and the battery, as far as I know. And it's on Christmas light mode. And I can turn it on the sides. There's like LEDs on the sides for Christmas light mode. So that was the most exciting thing that the installer showed me. Very excited about this. I will probably turn the Christmas lights off for now. But anyway, here is my, like I said, inverter, I think, and battery. And then it goes like up and it goes into the house. And then there's obviously our grid connection. And then come with me into the house. We'll come around here and let Murray have a little sniff outside. She's been stuck inside all day while they worked away. She doesn't really like men very much. So she was doing a bit of barking. Poor Bridie, she had to go into a container, like a cat carrier, for a little bit there because they needed, I had her in a room and they needed the room that she was in for about an hour. So poor Bridie, but with them in and out, I knew she would try and escape. So she had to stay contained. Let's see if we can see Mama and Baby over here. I have a little bit of news. Baby kitten has been adopted. She's in there. I don't know if you can see her. The window's so dirty. Oh God, the window's way too dirty. Well, she's running around in there with Mama. So now we just need someone to adopt Mama. Did you go do your pee-pees, please? We're out here for your pee-pees and your poo-poos. Bring you down here into my little service hallway. We might put like a little arch here or something so that this is like separate. I was very clear that I did not care how any of this looked because we already had like these controls. We had, that's our like fuse box. And then this up here is our meter. And then this is like a switch that you have to have here in Ireland, maybe everywhere, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to touch that, but basically it is if the fire brigade come and the house is like on fire, they have to, I think, turn all the electrics off. I don't really know. And they switch this off and it turns off the grid and it turns off the solar as well. And then moving over here, this is the solar. I'm not going to open it up because it just doesn't need to be opened up. But I think this is like the control panel. He did, sorry to clarify, he did explain all of this to me. But I don't really understand electricity, so he said that I didn't have to worry about this and that probably I wouldn't need to do anything with it ever, so I could just close it and not worry about it. So I was very happy about that, and he was like, you don't need to touch this ever in your whole life. Do not touch this unless there's some catastrophic thing, but this is actually just for the firefighters, so I'm not touching that either. Anyway, it is just 6 o'clock now, so I will come back to you tomorrow at roughly the same time maybe. Because obviously they just finished up, so it's getting dark outside. So the solar, I think it's pulling in a teeny tiny little bit of solar, but it's obviously not pulling in a huge amount. The battery is, I think, about a third of the way full. So I think the lights are on from the battery. There's an app, and I will go into the app and I'll screenshot it so you can guys see what I'm talking about. But anyway, we are now fully connected to the solar. It'll work off grid, it'll work on grid. It was two fellas that came out today to do it. One of them is the owner of the company, Ollie. He was fantastic. So he explained everything to me and I was like, I don't understand anything about electrics, but he made it very simple and easy for me to understand. And it was very nice to know that I really don't have to worry about anything. It's kind of the system will look after itself. Bridie's having a good lick of herself. She's such a funny girl. But this is the weather, correlating to that little clip you just saw, showing that we've got, I think, 1.6 kW coming in. So that is all the light we are getting in through the clouds at the moment. I do have my clothes out drying because it's quite windy, so please excuse that. I do need to get a proper washing line. So my feedback on the solar so far, it's working really well. So I thought I would just include a few examples of what's coming in and what's going out through the solar panel and inverter and everything like that when I turn on different appliances in the kitchen or whatever. So I just turned on the kettle and you can see it goes up quite high. We're 2 kilowatts. And this one here, I was cooking dinner. So I had the air fryer on and it was only at about 1.34. So
The air fryer is quite a low usage tool, which is great, and went up to 1.4 when I also turned on the little heating stove that I have, so not a huge amount being used for cooking dinner. And then finally, I took this the other day. It was quite late at night, and you can see we're using 0.5 kilowatts, and that is because I had our heating on. So it was really nice to see that the heating itself doesn't actually pull a huge amount of energy. It just obviously needs a small amount. Crazy to think that like the kettle takes like 5 times more electricity than turning on like the heating for the entire house, which is obviously run by oil, but just the pump needs the electricity. Hey guys, how are you? So it is October 25th, logo it's Saturday. Here. I am just I found shooting this video now to give you like Irish today solar panel group on Facebook. Detail on how the solar is going, and I'll also cover the system that I have, why I chose it, who I used, and how much it cost, because I think that's what most people want to know. So first of all, I used OFE solar. Gotten a couple quotes from a couple different companies, and then I was in the group just kind of asking like, does this quote sound reasonable? Like, I just want to make sure I was getting kind of my best value for what I was getting. And so many comments recommended Ollie's company to me, and actually they are reasonably local. They're not too far off. The other companies I was getting quoted were more kind of like big companies, like national. They have like a whole bunch of different branches, whereas OFE is like a local guy who owns his own business and is running it himself. And he actually commented himself on the thing, on the post, and said that he would be more than happy to come out and do a quote. He came out within a few days and he was just lovely. He explained everything really well to me, because I find my brain just doesn't process electricity. Like, I don't understand it, like volts and amps and kilowatts and watts and all that stuff. Like, that just doesn't compute in my brain. It's like that like Windows logo where it's just like turning and nothing is going in and nothing's happening. That's my brain when we try and talk about electricity. I just don't get it. So he actually explained things really well to me in a way that I could understand it, and I just felt very comfortable with him. And I know a couple of people that actually know him, just because obviously he's from not too far off where I'm living. So that was really handy as well, just to have that kind of like inside information that he's a decent guy and his company's decent. So that's who I went with, and so far 10 out of 10. Couldn't recommend them more. They were really clean in the install. Everything was done on time. They did things to a really high standard, I think, in my opinion. So anyway, would recommend them. Not sponsored, nothing like that. Just from my experience with them over the last couple of weeks, really good experience. So then I suppose the system itself, what system did I get? I got a hybrid system. When I was looking into solar panels, I never realized, and I think a lot of people don't realize, if you get the solar system on your house that's connected to the grid, what happens in a power cut is that the ESB, the grid, they cut you off. They cut off your solar. So if you're in a storm, let's say the power goes, they actually stop your solar supply completely. So your power will be off even if you've solar. And this is so that you don't accidentally send solar down the grid and electrocute someone who is like working on the grid. So it makes sense from a safety point of view, but I feel like a lot of people don't know that. Well, I didn't know that if you have solar and the power goes out, you still can't use your solar. I did not know that. So then the other option was like an off-grid option, where your house isn't connected to the grid at all and you run simply off your solar and your batteries. And that obviously wasn't a great option either for me, because I'm connected to the grid. I'm quite happy to be connected to the grid. I think the grid is a good system to be connected to when you are in winter and your solar pull isn't very good. So I didn't want to disconnect from the grid, but then if I got the on-grid system, it made no sense, because it would get turned off during power cuts. So the main reason I wanted it wouldn't be usable. So Ollie told me about the hybrid system, which is what we went with. And basically how it works is there's like some kind of inverter or computer or something, and it organizes your electricity. So it will bring in the solar, it'll decide how much solar you're bringing in, it will send it to your house to power all your bits in your house, and then if there's anything left over, it'll send some to your battery to charge your battery or make sure it's fully charged. And if your battery's fully charged, it'll then export it to the grid. So you sell it back to the national grid. So you make a little bit of money. So that's what I got, the hybrid system. There's a couple of different kinds of systems. There's different brands, all that sort of stuff. What I went with was the one that would do everything by itself. I wanted the least, like, I did not want to be touching this. I don't want to be playing with it. I just wanted to run and I don't have to worry about it. So there's something called like a changeover switch, and that's what, if your power goes, this changeover switch is triggered and it will cut you off from the grid, and your electricity will just be supplying you to the house, your battery, and that's it. So it makes it safe for the grid workers that they won't accidentally get electrocuted, and my house will still function in a power outage. So that was the system I went with. Like I said, there's a couple different brands, couple different options. One of the options is there's like a physical switch yourself that, like, if the power goes, you have to go and just turn a switch that makes you off grid. But I got the system that does that automatically. So we tested it out when Ollie was here, the electrician, and he like turned off the grid supply and the solar kicked in straight away. Like the lights didn't even flicker. It was just, everything just worked properly straight away. So that is a huge peace of mind as we come into, again, winter and storm seasons. And we've already had, 3 named storms, I think, so far this year. Another storm is hitting tomorrow. I think it's more of a rainstorm than a windstorm, so it should be fine. But yeah, brilliant to have so much comfort in the fact that now we should be fine. And we're about 10 days since it's been installed, and I have to say, like, I'm just thrilled with the system. So we'll talk about cost. What did it cost? It was €10,600, which is a lot of money. It's very expensive. If you went for just a fully on-grid system, it would have been cheaper, or if you went for just a fully off-grid system, it would have been cheaper. The hybrid is obviously more expensive because you're getting more kind of, oh, the sun is coming out. Oh, I might not be able to see. So it is just, oh my goodness, I'm very pale all of a sudden. I wonder if I can just block the sun. 1 second. That's better. So yeah, the hybrid system, obviously it's more expensive. Here in Ireland, there's grants for solar panels. So the actual full cost of the system was about 12,500, and then I got a grant of 1,800 towards it. And then the system I paid out of pocket 10,600. I think it was more than worth it. What I got for that was 18 solar panels. It's a 9 kilowatt system. I got a 10 kilowatt battery, so it'll store up to 10 kilowatts for usage during the night or during power outages. And like I said, 18 solar panels, and that includes like the inverter and all that stuff. Now, I'm not going to go into the safety features or the features of the system or anything like that because I don't really understand them. And that is something that I think everyone will have to do their own research for. All I know is that they're very safe. They've got like fire protection, and they're just like top of the line stuff. I was like, give me the best of what you have and I'll pay whatever it is. And Ollie was like, don't say that. People will scam you. So yeah, we're about 10 days in now, and I'll just have a quick look at the app here just to give you kind of like just an idea of what we've pulled in for 10 days in October worth of solar, because considering it's been raining for the last 10 days, we have pulled in a huge amount of solar. So right now, like I said, it's sunny outside. So we're pulling in 4.7 kilowatts from the solar. 0.14 kilowatts is going to the house because nothing's really plugged in except for this computer. And then 4.57 kilowatts is going back to the grid. So that's what I'm selling back to the grid. Just to give you an idea, in 10 days, we have produced 107.9 kilowatts of power. Now, I don't really know what that means, but to give you an idea, I use roughly 115 to 120 kilowatts of power in a month. So we're pretty much covered ourselves now on the grid, like of what we would normally pay for every month. So that I think is just fantastic. So far today, it's only 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We've pulled in 8 kilowatts of power. And it's October 25th, so that's pretty good. So yeah, like it's really working very well considering we're pretty much in winter now. Um, and I just have to say, overall, I'm really happy with it at the moment. Everything is working really well. In summertime, obviously, you don't use as much power. You've got light for way longer, so you kind of like build up lots of energy credits with your electricity supplier. Winter, not as much, but like in 10 days, we've covered our monthly usage already. So that's pretty impressive, I think. And not even 10 full days, because today is only halfway through. And also the 15th, the day they installed it, it pulled in no solar because obviously it was nighttime when they hooked it all up. So really in like 8.5, 9 days, we've pulled in my monthly usage of electricity. So that for me is a big win, even though the reason we got it was for power outages. Um, Thankfully, there's been no power outages since, so I can't really give you my feedback on how it's going to work in a power outage, but it will just work. And like it will, even if it's a dull day, it will still be pulling in a little bit of solar to power the house, and then we'll have the battery for anything extra. So I'm absolutely thrilled. Unfortunately, I don't know the specifics about the system and stuff like that. Like the specifics to me, I don't really care about if the system works, and that is probably the most layman's like explanation of the solar. But I'm thrilled with it. Like I said, the install was great. I think the price was reasonable for what I got. And so far, I have covered my monthly electricity usage in 9 days. So I probably won't have an electricity bill again, which is always like a bonus. So the system will eventually pay for itself. And would I recommend it to others? Yes, I would. I think probably a comment I might get is about going for solar versus going for like a diesel generator. And I did think about a diesel generator, but I just didn't want one. Can I be honest with you? I just didn't want one. They're very loud. They're expensive to run. Like diesel is so expensive. And then you have to have diesel to use it. It's just like, and the diesel, like to get a good diesel generator, it's expensive. You're talking thousands. You're not talking hundreds. You're talking thousands. So by the time you pay for the diesel generator and the diesel to run it and deal with the noise and the smell and the limited capabilities that they have as well, I actually think the solar was the best choice for me. It's environmentally friendly. I mean, as environmentally friendly, I suppose you could be. Actually, it does tell you in the app. Let me just pull this up from the app here. It tells you, let me scroll down. So far this month, we have saved 50 kg of CO2 emission. And we have saved, which is equivalent to 40 kg of standard coal. So that's, I mean, like, I think that's cool. Like, obviously, I probably use more carbon than I'm saving for like my in general life, but reducing our footprint is always a good thing. And I know not everyone believes in, climate change and all that stuff, and that's fine. I'm not here to argue with anyone about it. But from where I am, storms and weather has changed so much in Ireland, and has gotten worse over the last 5-10 years, that like for me it just seems like I can't say for sure climate change isn't real. I think it is, and whatever I can do just as one person to reduce my impact on it is obviously a good thing. But in general, solar is, I think, the future for house power and stuff like that. I think it's awesome that I'm now like essentially off-grid power-wise. The only time we pull power from the grid now is when the batteries charge at night, and it only charges like a kilowatt, maybe 2 kilowatts at most per night. So we have a very minimal reliance on the grid, and that reliance can stop at any time. I can stop it charging and just let the power charge naturally during the day. But for now, anyway, we're just going to use it as it charges at night so that the battery's ready to go in case we have no power, in case we wake up one day with no power. So yeah, I'm thrilled with the system. I did look into generators because I know loads of people will say that a generator would be better than the solar, but I just think for me, for my usage and just for my kind of own sort of wants, the solar panel was the best option. And also it increases the value of your property. So if I was to ever sell this house, which I won't, but if I was to sell it, I've just increased the value of my property by quite a bit, which means nothing to me because, like I said, this is my forever home, but just it's another bonus. Whereas like a diesel generator doesn't increase the value of your house, and you're paying a huge amount of carbon tax for your diesel, and it just, like, for me, solar made more sense. But yeah, like, I don't really have anything else to report back on it at the moment. I'm thrilled with it. I think it is meeting my needs very well so far. Hopefully that continues. I'll let you know if we lose power, and I will let you know how the system kind of deals with that. But overall, 10 out of 10, would recommend OFE Solar as well. And I have to say, shout out to Desi. They, when Desi and Francis were here, obviously they did the roof, and when they did the roof, the roof at the back of the house, it had no proper timbers and it was just in a really bad way. But them strengthening the roof and making it stable and secure actually made it like the perfect platform for solar. And the drop of the roof is perfect for the solar as well. So big shout out to Desi and Francis for doing such a great job on my roof. They are actually on YouTube. I'll put Desi's link below. Make sure to go follow him on YouTube. He's doing some amazing work at a house in Roscommon at the moment, and I'm just helping him with his videos. But yeah, anyway, 10 out of 10 on the solar, and I will give you guys an update in the future how we're getting on with it. But so far, I'm really impressed with it. So that's it for today's video. I know it's a bit of a talky one. It's not everyone's favorite thing, but this is what we have for this week. I didn't film the lads installing it because I'm just not comfortable filming people. I would say I'm probably one of the most awkward YouTubers. I don't film myself or others when anyone else knows. Like, sometimes I'll be filming outside, and if a car goes by, I just like knock the camera over. I'm like, nope, I don't want them to see that I'm filming. Cringe, and I just knock it right over. And I'm just not at a point in my life where I feel comfortable asking if I could film others, even if they're doing work on the house. That will probably have to change at some point if I'm, paying people to come in and do other stuff. But just for right now, I'm not comfortable with that. So apologies that there's no install footage. But you know what? They were so busy running around. By the time I moved the camera to record what they were doing, they would have been finished and doing something else. So apologies that it is a bit of a wordy video today. But I hope you enjoyed. And if you have any questions about the solar, put them down below. We're coming into November now, so we're going to be going back up to 2 videos a week. So I'm going to get working on those. I'm officially unemployed. I finished up with my job yesterday, and yeah, I'm officially unemployed for the next couple of weeks until I start a new job. So I have a little bit of time on my hands. We're going to get lots done at the house. Next week's video, it was an interesting one. Just a spoiler, it was a bad week here. It was a sad and a bad week. So look out for that one on next Saturday. There might be a Wednesday one in between, but I don't know yet. No, because we're still October. So the 2 videos a week will start from the next week, I think. Anyway, sorry, I'm yapping. Bye. Bye, guys. Thanks for, supporting, and I'll talk to you next time.